Right. Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Market Wrap with Arjit Garg, a SEBI-registered research analyst. Today, we saw Nifty fall close to 200 plus points throughout the market, and we'll discuss more about this. So, let's get started, Arjit. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me, and let's quickly dive into what's really happening in the market. So something what is really happening in the market from past 2 days. I remember the last time we connected, we were around 24,600, 24,700. Yesterday, we saw a gap down. We opened at around 24,400, 24,500, and we closed near day's low at 24,350. Today we saw another gap down. We opened somewhere around 24,250 and closed again near day's low at 24,150. Now the good part about this is that we are still above 24,150, which is a crucial level for the markets. But the negative point or the bad part about today's market is that we have closed again near day's low. Right? So the pattern for the past 2 days is clear. Open with a gap down. Intraday may maybe you'd get one or two opportunities to trade, and by the end of the day, you would again come down to day's low and you would close somewhere around that. Right? So this is the pattern that has been formed in the past 2 days. Now, before we dive into what's really driving the market and what's really happening in the market, why this down move, why this negativity in the market, first let's quickly look at how did our markets really perform today. So Nifty closed with a loss of almost 1%, 0.84% loss, 205% loss at 24,173. That was the provisional closing, 24,173. The actual final closing was 24,156. Similarly, in Sensex, we closed with a loss of almost 1.1%, around 850 points. Provisional closing was 77,664, but the final closing has come down to 77,611. Sensex as well, on the charts, you can see the same pattern. Gap down, intraday mein there is a little recovery, and then you close again towards the day's low. Same thing has happened for both of the days. Now, what is really happening in the market? We were all positive when we last talked on Tuesday. We were all positive. It was Nifty's expiry, and we were like, "ठीक है, Nifty's action is very well on expiry." So, what really happened here? So, ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं हुआ है. There are just a little small points here and there that has happened. The first reason is the FII and DII activity. On Tuesday, we were sure that भाई market में इतना ज़्यादा heavy rally आई है, तो for sure FIIs might have sold or booked some profits during the day, which is exactly something that we have seen here. On Tuesday, FII sold around 2,000 crore in the capital markets, right? DII ने चाहे कितना ही buy किया हो, but FIIs are selling. That is important for our markets, at least to build our sentiments. Next, on 22nd of April, again yesterday, the data was very negative. Negative 2,000 points was 2,000 crores were sold by FIs in the markets. And today again, we are seeing that at least from the screen, we can see that selling was very heavy in the markets today as well, right? So number one point, what is driving the markets? The first reason is the FI and DI activity. Now, your question here should be FIs are selling, that is fine. But DIs are constantly buying the markets. DIs, every day we see kya if FIs are selling 2,000 crores, our mutual funds, our domestic institutions, they're purchasing 3,000, 4,000 crores. Yet our markets are falling. So why it is happening? The reason is very simple. From the very beginning, the FIs that have been involved in our markets, they've been US based or European based. Basically, Western foreign institutions have had a majority stake in our markets. In terms of FIs, बहुत सारे FIs होते हैं. Asian FIs भी हैं. We have Russian FIs as well. काफी सारे मतलब हमारे West Asian FIs भी हैं. But in FIs, the majority stake is owned by the Western foreign institutions, primarily investment banks from Europe and America. Now, that is why we see that whenever there is something negative happening for the US markets, हमारे markets सबसे पहले गिर जाते हैं. Because a lot of foreign institutions are from the US. उनके यहाँ जैसे कुछ खराब होगा, they would go ahead and sell the market. They would sell from the global perspective. जिस भी market में they would see that there's some problem, they would just dump that particular market, right? So the number one reason is FII is selling. FIIs का majority stake है. They are selling. They are driving the sentiments. The second reason is the crude oil. Let's quickly look at Brent crude here. Now, interesting rally was seen in Brent. Let me just quickly load it right here. हम लोग जब छोड़ के गए थे ऑन 21st वी वर अगेन नॉट श्योर व्हाट्स गोइंग टू हैपन इन क्रूड. वी वर श्योर कि यार या तो ये 100 के ऊपर जाएगा या तो ये 90 के नीचे जाएगा. एंड yesterday and today, like these 2 days are very crucial because यूएस ने जो सीज फायर डिक्लेयर किया था, यूएस ईरान का जो 2 week सीज फायर हुआ था, दैट सीज फायर has that the last day was yesterday, and yesterday US announced that we are trying to extend this ceasefire. Iran, however, has denied. Iran ने बोला है that we are not really interested in extending this ceasefire. Still, they are, at least on grounds, they are not firing at each other. They are not attacking anyone else. They are they're following the ceasefire rules. Even if Iran has said that we are not interested in extending the ceasefire, still they have extended. They're following the rules. Now, this throws the entire global markets into uncertainty. Like one guy is saying कि ceasefire extend करना है, दूसरा बोल रहा है ceasefire नहीं चाहिए, but still they are following the rules. So what's really happening? What are they cooking? That is something which is again throwing the entire global markets into uncertainty, and that is why we are seeing crude has crossed $100 ka mark, and now it is trading around 103. From day one, we are very clear. Crude, जब तक Brent crude will stay above $100, तब तक not just Indian markets, globally markets will stay under pressure. Now there are multiple reasons to it because crude is like जैसे एक human में there's a heart. जब तक heart चल रहा है तब तक that human is alive. Similarly, if crude is under a certain price point, say for example we have $100, जब तक crude is under $100, तब तक the entire global markets can stay peacefully. जैसे ही 100 के ऊपर जाएगा, again heart beat would again rise, chances of heart attack increases, thus the entire global markets, they are under uncertainty, they are under pressure, right? So the first point was FIs are selling, that is throwing the markets under pressure. The second reason is crude oil above $100. Apart from this, global markets also play a role in putting our markets and like throwing our markets under the bus. So if we look at the global markets here, the European peers, UK is down almost 1%. German market is almost 0.5% down. Now it's revised to 0.35%. You look at Asian peers, all of the Asian markets are down, especially except Korean markets. Now there was some news around Korean markets that we'll talk about later. But if you look at the broader Asian market, all the markets were in the red. And even if you look at right now Dow Jones future, the futures are also in the red. So these global factors, they are again putting additional pressure on our markets. So these are the top 3 reasons why our market have not been performing. अब इसके अलावा there are a lot of other reasons as well. जैसे if you look at today was Sensex expiry. So Tuesday and Thursday, these are the 2 days when you see high volatility in the market. Tuesday ko we already seen market volatility in Nifty expiry. Today was Sensex expiry, and that is why we see additional volatility. Apart from this, the USD INR pair, that is also putting additional pressure on the market. So if we can just load USD INR pair here, we'll see Indian rupees जो हम लोग 93 पे छोड़ के गए थे, 92, 93.3, 93.1 पे हम छोड़ के गए थे on Tuesday. Today that pair is up to 94. तो obvious सी बात है, Indian rupee अगर weak होगा तो that is very negative for our Indian market because we are losing the value in terms of rupee, right? Now, इसके अलावा there is one more reason why the markets are still under pressure. ठीक है, agreed that global uncertainty है, ठीक है, crude oil है, markets को उसकी आदत पड़ गई है, that is fine. But if we look at a little, if we throw the light inside our market, like what's really happening in the markets, you look at rate sensitive stocks, sectors like auto, real estate, or banking and non-banking financial NBFCs basically, all of these companies are very rate sensitive. These companies, these sectors have been under pressure. If you just look at the top performing sector in today's market, you'd see auto was the top losing sector with loss of 2.35%. You look at Bank Nifty, financial services, which is Nifty, Fin Nifty. All of these sectors are also down 1.2, 1.4, and 2%. So these are very rate sensitive sectors. Now we'll dive deeper into what's really causing these rate sensitive sectors to fall. But on the broader side, these are all the points why we are seeing additional pressure in the markets.
Got it. Ajit, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you're audible. Please go ahead.
Okay, perfect, perfect. Since we already have looked at the sectors, then we can look at the stocks now. What were the major stocks that performed today or went down today, and some stocks for tomorrow as well?
Definitely. So let's look at the stock heat map here. So if we look at, I know bloodbath सा दिख रहा है यहाँ पे because almost all the stocks are down. But if you just concentrate on a couple of stocks, like you look at Reliance Industries, oil and gas is already under pressure. So वहाँ से pressure is coming on Reliance Industries. You look at Maruti, M&M, Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, Eicher Motors. All of these stocks are auto sector stocks. So auto sectors are again rate sensitive. हल्का सा भी रेट्स ऊपर नीचे हो जाएंगे, फेड रेट्स ऊपर नीचे होंगे, तो these sectors are the number one sectors to fall. And of course auto sectors are high beta sector. We have talked about this earlier as well. So auto sector में तो negativity वहां से आ रही है. But if you look at the top gaining stocks, you look at Bharti Airtel, you have Adani Ports, Larsen and Tubro, Nestle. These are some of the top gaining sectors from today's session. Even if you look at pharma and healthcare, that was among the top gaining sector today. We look at Dr. Reddy, look at Cipla, Glenmark, Sun Pharmaceutical. All of these are the top gaining with at least 10% rally intraday in this today's red market. So these are the top gaining stocks and sectors. Shall we look at the individual stocks as well, Riprataman?
Yes, 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 please.
Sure, sure, sure. So let's look at a couple of stocks which are
Yes,
quite
please.
interesting. Before that, let's quickly look at our previous recommendation. Now, our all-time favorite, Sirma SGS Technologies, superb rally here. All of our targets were met here. Grow में तो targets were already met. I was looking at HDFC Bank here already, which was preloaded on the screen. So वहाँ पे भी I believe our first target was hit already. Now this was the level around 759 जहाँ पे हमने recommend किया था HDFC Bank को, and वहाँ से you see सीधे सीधे gap up आके and our first target was hit. Now, if you have to look at a couple of stocks to maybe follow for the next couple of days, or at least for this particular week, yeah, for the next 2 days, or for tomorrow and for Monday, what are the stocks that you have to watch in for, stocks that you will look for? I would say Motherson Sumi is one stock. I know it's a auto sector stock. It's called Samvardhan Motherson. Now, this stock is performing very well from a couple of days already. Auto stocks were under a good rally. Today, this stock is giving a good fall, but I think from here, from 127, it won't take much long for Motherson to reach its previous highs of 136. So before that, if you're looking to buy the stock from current levels, I would recommend you to like watch out for some key levels here: 129, 132, 129, 132, and 136. These are some of the key important levels that you have to watch out for Motherson on the upper side. And if you look at the downside, we would just take the lowest level of this particular range, the decisive low, which was 122. So this, if you mark it here on the charts, it will give you a good 1:1 ratio on both the sides. So I'll just color it in so people don't get confused between all of these levels that we have marked. So we'll just color it in green, and okay, we'll have to do it individually. Hold on a moment. Right. So these are the important levels for Motherson that we have marked. Now, Motherson, though, it's a stock from auto sector. Auto sector, we already know that it's under pressure. But if we have to look out for a stock from pharma and healthcare, I believe Eris Life Sciences would be one of the best stock to talk about today. Now, the reason why I have chosen Eris Life Sciences, first because already underperformance may hai. While the markets were rallying in the couple of days previous week especially, Eris has been in a downtrend. And now, if you look at a little higher time frame, if you look at 4-hour time frame here, you'd see a rounding bottom pattern is being formed on Eris Life Sciences right over here, right? So if you look at carefully, it's not just a rounding bottom pattern; it's a cup and handle form pattern. जहाँ पे cup यहाँ पे already बन गया है. From the resistance here, we are seeing another handle over here. I'll just look at the drawing tools if possible. I can mark these levels here, right? So this is the resistance that the stock has been following, and this is the lower handle that the stock has formed. Now, if you come back to 1 hour time frame, if you look at Eris Life Sciences at the current point, now a little history about Eris Life Sciences. Eris Life Sciences is a company which has a lot of vitamin related medicines. You talk about vitamin D3, B12, B3, B6, B6 complex. All of these are some of the crucial medicines that people need in the day-to-day health. आप किसी भी if you go and get your bone density checked, the doctor would most likely tell you to get a multivitamin tablet. So Eris Life Sciences is a leading player in all of those kind of medicines. So यहाँ से if you look at Eris Life Sciences, I believe the final target would be the resistance level here, which is again at 1477, right? So that would be your final target. Beach mein again, if you wish to book your profits, you can book at first level would be 1424 and the next level would be 1445. So for these three targets, I believe you can maybe if you have to add arise in your watch list, you can very well add it and do keep an important stop loss at a 1 to 1 ratio here at 1336 because this is the range low. अगर हैंडल के नीचे यहाँ पे क्लोज होता है तो ऑब्वियसली बात है द पैटर्न वुड फेयर द स्टॉक वुड अगेन कंटिन्यू इन डाउन ट्रेंड. So these are the top two stocks that I have to talk about: Eris Life Sciences and Motherson Sumi. Vipratham.
Perfect. Arjit, let's come back to the index. Let's come back to Nifty and look at the open interest, what the data has to tell us.
Sure. Let's look at the open interest right here. If you look at the open interest and I refresh this at the closing date, you'll see that interesting data is being formed here. You look at the current strike price is 24,150 because Nifty spot it has closed at 24,156. So if you look at the ATM strike of 24,150, you would see that put OI is again higher than the call OI. And subsequently, if you look at the lower strike prices, you look at 24,100, 24,000, 24,50, or even 24,000 itself, the put OI is higher than the call OI, which means अगर यहाँ से market if it falls down, then you'd find a support somewhere between 24,000 to 23,500, or maybe if you have to create a higher range, yeah, 23,500 to 24,000, that would be the range जहाँ पे you will find a support, and that is exactly the range that we have already marked on the charts. From a lot of previous days, I believe from 2-3 weeks ago, we have already marked these levels, and the market is again looking to respect those levels once again. 23,500, 24,000, and 23,850 once or already we have marked. If you have to add another level between 23,500 to 23,850, that level would be 23,680 right over here, right? So these are the three to four important levels जहाँ से if market falls, they you can create a step fall in the market, right? तो market अगर यहाँ से गिरता है, for example, पहले 24,000 पे आएगा, then 24,850, then 23,850, 23,680, then it would fall down to 23,500. So you have all of the key support levels that you have to look out for in Nifty for the upcoming trading sessions here. From open interest, from option chain data, we can see that यहाँ से lower level में, see ऊपर के side में already call OI is higher. So obviously if the markets go up, your call options won't rise, so automatically markets would come down. Once the market comes down, you already have the levels marked. If the market goes on the higher end, say for example something good happens and the market they open with a gap up, you already have the levels here 24,500 and 24,200, and those levels are already there 24,700, and if you want we can mark the levels here already. So we'll mark 24,500 over here and we can mark 24,350 over here. So you have all of the important levels that you need. Just to be on the clearer side, so like people won't get confused, let me just quickly change the color of these lines because if everything is green, you'd most likely be confused. Right. So these are the important levels on the lower end, and on the higher end, we already have those levels. Now, there's one important thing that I have to talk about. The rate sensitive sectors that we had talked about, auto and banking and financial sectors. So what really leads to these rate sensitive sectors falling, and when would you expect an up move in there? I would just like to throw some light on that if you permit me to do that.
Sure.
All right. So In today's market, if you look at the indices that we've already looked at, the sector indices, you're seeing auto and NBFCs and banking stocks, they have been underperforming. Now, your question should be here, what is this rate sensitive sector and why are these down? The primary reason is look at crude oil. You look at crude oil on MCX or you look at Brent crude, doesn't matter. Both of them would reflect the original crude oil price in terms of barrels, right? For clarity, let's look at Brent crude because we've been referring to it from a long time now and we already have the important levels marked here. Now, the reason why Brent crude is so important, not just for the Indian market but for all of the markets globally, is because crude oil tells you if inflation is coming in your particular market or not. And it's very simple. You can just look at the crude oil price and you'll already know if inflation is coming or not. Why? Because crude oil, see, if crude oil becomes expensive, your fuel would become expensive. For oil and marketing companies to get the crude, refine it, and then to supply it to others, this entire operation becomes expensive. And if that petrol and diesel that you're filling in your vehicles for transport or for your daily traveling, if that thing becomes expensive, automatically everything would have a cascading effect and everything would become expensive. As a result, you'll have a current account deficit in that particular on that particular country if the crude oil becomes expensive, and again that would lead to increase in inflation, thus your market would stay under pressure. So it's a simple macroeconomic play here. By just looking at crude oil prices, you can you can understand how your macroeconomics are working out for that particular country, and then you can again put all of that together, combine it with technical analysis, combine it with your option data analysis, and then you have the important levels that you have, or you have the direction कि कौन से direction में हमारा market जाने वाला है. You have all of that data in front of you.
Perfect. Once again, yet again, a wonderful, very insightful session, Arjit. Thank you so much for today's session, and let's reconnect tomorrow once again at 4:30 p.m.
Thank you so much.